Yo, what's up everybody, KingGBL here, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today I'm going to be showcasing a very strong team that I got all the way up to 2443 with in Scroll Cup. Scroll Cup, a brand new meta of water, dark and fighting types. I came up with this team yesterday and it's got me up to 2443 already at this point in the season. I've absolutely cooked with this team. Not only have I cooked with this team, but I've seen like 3 or 4 messages from people in Discord saying, yo, I got like a 4-1, 4-1, 5-0 with this team. Yesterday, I won 20 out of 25 battles. This morning I had a 5-0 straight away. I had another 4-1, I think a 3-2. That 3-2 got me all the way up to 2443, and then unfortunately, because I'm so high on the leaderboards, I got massive down pairs, got a 2-free, and lost I think like 30 or 40 ELO for the 2-free, so the team's absolutely cooking. Most people are having a good time with it, and hopefully you can learn some of the matchups here today. If you did enjoy today's video, of course, drop a like in the video. Drop a like in the video. It is absolutely free, subscribe to the channel, and let's hop onto these battles here. So just the team composition, basically it's like we've got an Annihilate in the lead and a core in the back. If you have a bad lead for Annihilate, you typically stand against it most of the time. So for example, if you get like a toxapex, Mandibuzz, you stand against those. Gastrodon, we're going to basically force alignment with this. Typically Gastrodons get Mandibuzz in the back. If you can force alignment in the lead, you can do very good things here. I think this is the weird matchup where the opponent just went straight body slam, a really weird gameplay. I'm guessing they just want to land it to try and get me a little bit lower. Oftentimes the Gastrodons are a little bit weak to Ape in the back as well. So I go for this move right away in CMP time. This will look to knock them out, and we'll see what the opponent wants to do. They're going to bring in their Mandibuzz most likely. Actually, they bring in Guzzy this time. We get like 3 counters free, which does about 30% of their health. They bring in this thing, and we're going to slap it all the way down. You're going to see an absolute ton of Toxapexes, or Pekos, and things that are weak to ground in the back. Gastro in the back just absolutely destroyed backlines. The really good thing about this team is all 3 Pokemon have good play into Peko. In the lead, of course, we can just counter through it, right? Go for Rage Fist counter. I don't think you even have to Rage Fist with Shadow Ape, you just counter all the way down. Gastrodon just destroys it unless it's got Seed Bomb. And Dugong, if you shield the first move, like if it's an even health matchup, shield the first move, Icy Wind it, and then you can basically tank the Dark move after. If the opponent no shields the Icy Wind, they get basically into Ice Shard downrange anyway. So in this battle here, we had a Sableye lead, we come into the Dugong, they bring in the Toxapex. Toxapex, pretty fine answer to Dugong, however we can't start shielding. The opponent goes for a very big overfarm. I think I'm a little bit naive here. I go for the Drill Run, hoping they'll let it go, but of course they're going to commit to a jab down. I'm pretty happy with this. We're up a shield with Ape and Gastrodon, and hopefully it's like Sableye on the lead, with 2 things weak to ground in the back, being like more Peko, Toxapex. That's kind of what I'm hoping for at this point. We're going to no-shield all the Browns, and the good thing here is, as well, because we're going to be committing to fast move pressure, we're going to actually throw the move on the Sableye, get a massive chip into it. From Shadow Ape, this does a lot of damage. We're going to throw this right off here. Does about 30% of the Sableye, gets it very, very low. The opponent stays into chip here. I decide to shield. I think they might have built up to 7. They do go for Foul Play here, and they come into Swampert. Okay, very interesting matchup here. I go to full send the Earth Power. This is, again, a little bit silly of me. I should just be going double body slam, because as you can see, with these Mud Slaps, they're adding up a lot. I need to basically tank a Hydro Cannon, and I need to hope that I can still win this somehow. We basically need a Body Slam to KO here. As you're about to see, the Body Slam does so much damage in this matchup. You never really need to full send the Earth Power. Again, that was just a little bit naive of me. We go for Body Slam, boom, doesn't quite take them out. We come into Ape, they come into Sableye and farm us all the way down. So I think that match would have been a lot better had I just went for the correct move. In the next one here, we get Lucario, and in comes Tentacruel. We're going to slap this bad boy all the way down. Now, oftentimes, unless I'm absolutely forced to, I don't like bringing Gastrodon straight in, because oftentimes teams have like a Poison plus an Electric and Morpeko. Pretty often, the opponent's got 2 Pokemon that's weak to Gastrodon, so oftentimes keeping it in the back is really, really good for us. The opponent shields the first Body Slam, we're going to go for the next one. At this point, do we just let this go? I think I decide, okay, the opponent's really, really thirsty for alignment. They probably have some really hard answer to Ape in the back, so I'll just keep the alignment. In comes Lucario. We'll bring in the Ape. The opponent indeed, of course, has a Charmer in the back. This is absolute game over for them. Charm can be a little bit difficult for this team, of course, and I lay pretty weak to Charm. But the good thing is, if it's a meowscarada or a Liepard, you can actually stay in and punch your way through. It's non-stop charms, and meowscarada just dies to the counters, so that's basically something that's fine. In terms of Charmers, Gilead's probably the one you have to watch out for. If you catch it in the lead, I would probably just swap into Dugong straight away. Anyway, it's absolute curtains for the opponent here. They're going to bring back in Lucario. They can look to beat me with a Power Punch, but I should be able to farm it all the way down here. They go for Thunder Punch, so that is absolute curtains for them. Probably could have farmed all the way down, but we just look to get rid of it here, and that's good game well played. In the next battle, we've got an Azu lead. Azu lead can be tricky. What we do here typically is go for 7 and throw. Look to go for Rage Fist booster attack. Shadow Ape can beat Azu in the 2 shield, but I don't really want to play the 2 shield out in the lead. I either go for 1 and catch or 4 and catch. If the opponent's a good player, they're either going to 1 and throw for good timing or 3 and throw for good timing. So either doing 1 or 4 will typically get the catch for you. If the opponent goes for 1 and throw and you go for the 4 and catch, basically, you can stay in and play it out a little bit more and try and catch the next one or something. If you really need to, you can play the 2 shield. come out with a heavily boosted ape, try to get off a move on something, and fight for alignment, so there are a few different ways you can play that matchup. Anyway, the opponent comes in a Gastrodon. Not a super hard answer to Dugong here. I'm pretty happy here. We get to farm this thing the whole way down. And the great thing is, we can actually debuff the Azu, or go for... Oh, in comes Drapion, okay. The opponent's probably expecting an Icy Wind here, but they end up respecting it. I do the one and throw. I just come straight into Gastro at this point. No point letting him farm me down, get a big energy lead. Our Ape can definitely deal with that. The opponent has to swap straight out. I'm going to keep a shield for the Drapion's moves here, and we're going to look to build up the body slams. I have no reason to go for Earth Power at this point. That's kind of like a lose con for me at this stage, because like if they let it go, I just farm it all the way down. But yeah, build up here. The opponent's still locked in, so I go for another body slam and farm down. The Drapion left with some energy. We're going to shield this up here. We are basically forced to shield at this point. We can get a huge energy lead, and it's going to be game over for the opponent, basically. I can even let this go and just two-shield the Ape, or just one-shield the Ape, you know, like with so many different options here. We can just go for Body Slam here, like to slap it down or punch it down. So many good options to win this game. Good games well played. As you can see, even with bad leads in this comp, Shadow Annihilate has a really good way of fighting back. The only things that are like really tricky would be something like, even Mandy's not that tricky, like a Charm Gallade. We go for one on that set, and we get a Guzzlord lead. There's a team going around, that's Guzzlord, basically double poison, or a poison and Morpeko. You just completely RPS this team. We basically just RPS this team, and we can slap it all the way down, take the first one, no shield take the first one, shield the second one, and basically farm it the whole way down. We can even try to get shields off the opponent as well, which the opponent ends up giving up here. They go for another crunch, we'll slap it all the way down, and back in comes Guzzy. Earth Power does a lot of damage to Guzzy, but I'm not going to want to take this too much. And again, we've got two answers here, but I'm thinking like, if they've got Guzzy lead, they probably have a good answer to Ape in the back right. You would definitely think so. They go for the move here. I'm pretty fine just to let this go. And the opponent ends up coming into Lantern. In future matches, what I end up deciding to do is staying in with Ape and getting off Rage Fists, because you can basically just punch down a Lantern with Rage Fist. I end up coming into Dugong. Thankfully, I shield the correct move, go for Drill Runs, and since I shielded the Bolt, we're in a good position now. That goes through. Again, you could go for a bait here at this point. It's very, very likely that the opponent shields, but if they no shield, you're in a tricky position. So I'd rather go for the Full Send here. The opponent will overfarm quite a lot. So this is kind of getting tricky. In future, if you ever get this team, come in with the Ape against the Guzzy again, and basically just stay in against Lantern, Rage Fist for it, and you'll be fine. I think that's the easier way to play this matchup out. Guzzy comes back, he's on 1 HP, and that's good games well played. In the next battle here, we have Annihilate versus Gastro. Once again, we're going to punch through here. Typically what happens here, I think only one person's ever went for the Earth Power on me. They normally go for a double body slam, which it is kind of annoying, but either way, you're going to have to shield one of the body slams. They do a decent amount of damage with Mud Slap, so like shielding one of these is basically fine anyway. Yeah, so we shield the first one. They come into Machamp of all things. Big boy Machamp on the field. Now this is kind of a funny thing. Because they're safe swapping Machamp, I'm like, bro, how weak are you to this Pokemon? I'm shielding. Rock Slide coming through. Of course, I'm not going to go for double resisted Cross Chop. We farm down the Gastrodon, and that's GG's. Shadow Annihilate by itself, just cooking teams. Again, we get another Guzzy. Sometimes, you know, inadvertently, I come up with teams that counter a content creator's team. I believe I've seen a couple of teams showcased this week, with Guzzy lead, Lantern in the back. This team absolutely obliterated. It wasn't intentional by me. I just so happened to be looking for the Pokemon that I wanted to use. I knew I wanted to use Shadow Ape. I was just trying to build around it, and I came up with the core of Dugong. Dugong is kind of like a Pokemon that you just don't really see in this cup, but it has so much play in here. Even against things like Morpeko, it is just super, super neutral in this cup. And I think you can basically build any team around Dugong. Ape and Dugong is such a strong core, and Gastro Dugong is also a strong core, so this team just makes a lot of sense. And, you know, over the 2 weeks, the meta's going to evolve in this cup, but the current meta that we're seeing right now, this team obliterates it. Anyway, in comes Morpeko. If they Seed Bomb the Seed Bomb at this point, they go for Orwell on the first one. I did actually correctly shield a Seed Bomb from this thing, so definitely keep an eye out for it. There definitely are a few Morpekos out there with Seed Bomb. There is the Seed Bomb. That's kind of hilarious. The opponent expected me to come in with Ape, so they go for Orwell. They go for Blind Orwell. Had they seen the Gastrodon come in, they could have one-shot me with Seed Bomb. We get off a big move. Ended up just catching the move just because Dragon Claw comes through, knocks out the Ape, we farm it all the way down, and once again, that's going to be good games. In this meta, as long as Morpeko is going to be common, which it will be for the whole cup, this team will continue to do well. In the next battle, we have another Gastrodon lead. We're going to play this the exact same way. I think some people play it differently. They actually came into Feraligatr right away. I've not seen this yet. This is brand new to me. I've never experienced this before while playing this team, so let's see how we play it out. I'm going to stay in for a move, and I think what we end up deciding is just to basically get into our Gastro, or maybe I'm going to play this out fully at this point. Yeah, I guess I decide just to force alignment. That's an interesting play. I guess you could do that, or you could come into Gastro after this point. In comes Pelipper of all things. Okay, so we force alignment. This is working out pretty nicely for us. That does a lot of damage. In comes Dugong here. The opponent's going to want to get off a Hurricane. I decided to throw my Icy Wind right away, just to basically say to the opponent, hey, here's your option. Shield to get this off, debuffed, or swap out into your own Gastrodon and get debuffed in your Gastrodon. We force the opponent to make a difficult choice. And because Pelipper's so good into Gastro, we're going to get off the Icy Wind here, come into our own Gastrodon, and I think we could even build up to like back-to-back Body Slams here, force the opponent to throw energy with the Pelipper, and we should be able to clean it up. As you can see, Earth Power does not knock us out. We throw here, I think, one before they reach the next one, and that'll put us in a position to get off another Body Slam. The Pelipper is super low already, we get off the Body Slam. And for that, folks, we're going to be saying goodbye to the Flying Toilet. In this cup, I've seen a few Pelippers and Mantines. There is a team going around with Mantine lead, double fighter in the back. Unfortunately, if you do encounter that team a lot, we'll be very strong into this one. But as you can see, we go very, very positive again. We have a brand new lead to look at, Meowscarada with Charm. If Meowscarada is in the lead, you just stay in and throw the move. Right here, you can do, I think you can just farm it all the way, but I throw on 6 so that I don't take additional Charm damage, and basically to try and get a shield off the opponent. It's a pretty risky play, but I think either way, with the boost, you can just basically farm it all the way down no matter what. So it kind of works out to throw on 6. Dugong comes in, the opponent brings in Annihilate. Arguably, I could have went for a debuff here. I decided to not let the ape get too much energy. Because this is Shadow Ape, you have to shield everything. If it's non-Shadow, you have to take the first one. I'm going to go for Body Slams here. We've seen in the lead, Gastrodon landing a Body Slam basically makes that match a lot better for them. So if we can just land a Body Slam here, we're pretty much fine. I'm going to commit to the farm down. We're not letting Ape get any damage on the Dugong. The opponent probably will try to swap back out, but of course, they are probably switch locked here. We go for the Body Slam. Actually, we go for the Earth Power immediately. The opponent no-shields it, and that's game over. I think we win this match no matter what, but if you're going to shield anything, you probably shield the Gastrodon moves. They definitely hurt a lot more, and if you think about it, like, you're going to end up shielding Icy Winds. We go for Icy Wind right here. If the opponent shields, they just know it's over, basically, at this point. They probably should have just shielded the big move. Quite an interesting lead in the next one. We get a Quaggy lead, another Mudboy lead. These people are out here hunting for more Pekos, and we're taking advantage of it. The opponent actually CMPs me here. Very interesting play. They let it through, which is amazing for us, and we're going to just take this move. We're happy enough to eat this. The opponent goes for a Sludge Bomb. It is resisted by the Ghost typing, and we're going to farm it all the way down. In comes Azu. I'm not a huge fan of this. Azu's probably going to get a big farm down. Do I want to stay in here and just get count? They actually shield, wow. Now we're very happy, especially because we're going to get off another move. Yeah, I think that was definitely a very bad shield by the opponent. There's nothing that gets you even low with an Annihilate. They might have mistapped it. I actually done that today as well. I mistapped my second shield. I ended up two-shielding the swap with my Dugong today. And by mistake, I ended up winning the match, luckily enough. So I'm assuming that could be happening to people sometimes, but that was definitely a very interesting shield. Speaking of interesting, they've got Ice Fang Drapion on the back. We slap it all the way down. And once again, we get another Meowscarada. We're going to farm basically the whole way through this. On this occasion, once again, we go for 6 and throw. If they let this go, it just knocks them out. If they shield, I believe they die to 1 counter. The opponent comes in, snipes with Sableye, and I think we put... What do we put here? I was thinking long and hard, because I was thinking, like, Meowscarada on the lead's a decent answer to Gastrodon. So do they have something in the back that's even weaker to Gastro? That's kind of what I was thinking. The opponent's got 1 shield here. I go for the full send Earth Power. Not going to mess around with it. Bang! The opponent shields it up, and I come into Dugong at this point. Again, I'm sort of thinking, like, they might just be weak in the back. So yeah, we decide to shield this. I believe the opponent will be getting close to a Flower Trick, and the opponent, I think it's 6 charms to the Flower Trick. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong here. We go for another Icy Wind. Gastrodon comes in, and I think we're in a pretty fine position now. Do I shield this? I think, was this just a Body Slam? Okay, we're pretty happy with that. Okay, sometimes I'm commenting so quick, and the gameplay is at 2 times speed. I don't even see what happens half the time. We come into Gastro, get to the farm down, we're not going to shield anything. No matter what comes in, we're going to Body Slam it here. I guess I just actually do the 1 just to see what comes through, because I don't mind getting the energy with Dugong as well. We get ourselves lower, give the opponent less energy with their Sableye. And yeah, I think we're pretty fine here. I'm surprised the opponent didn't come in to absorb the Body Slam with Sableye there, because they might have got to a move with Meowscarada. Anyway, we get to a drill run. This is GG's well played. And as I mentioned, these battles are from yesterday where we went 20 out of 25. There's not many losses to look through today. And like I said, I did my battles today. And I think out of 20 battles, I won 14 out of 20. I think there's about 4 or 5 people who are using this team in my Discord who like just drop me messages like showing me screenshots of 5-0s. And this definitely seems to be working super well for the meta. Anyway, frenzy play coming through. In comes Gastrodon. We're going to like to basically throw off a move here. Go for Rage Fist, try to chip them, or get a shield advantage basically, or get the shield back from the opponent. I guess I decided to just stay in here fully. I understand why I do this now, because of course they have the chestnut, right? I'm thinking they're probably weak to this in the back. Dugong has ground damage, so what I'm thinking here is we can basically come into this, we're not going to feed it to the chestnut, and we can swap straight out, farm them down before they reach the frenzy plant, basically permanently debuff whatever's in the back, and in comes Morpeko. Okay, we should be in a pretty fine position here, I think. So we shield up the first move, it's going to be the electric aura wheel. If we shield up the first one, we can 1 an icy wind here, and we should be able to take the dark move and reach another one. And we got a bit of an energy lead. The only thing that's a bit tricky is the chestnut done a few vine whips, which might just about put us into range for a dark aura wheel. Can we survive this move and get it off? Yes, we can. Can the opponent catch? My switch clock's not up. They stay in, they do the extra thunder shock. I decide here to go for an undercharge. We come into Gastrodon, bank the body slam, because the opponent did a few extra vine whips. They could have got off a potential superpower. We take it out here. That's going to be good games well played. So very, very well played battle. And once again, we get another 4-1. Oh, was that a 3-2? 3-2, 4-1. Oh no, that was a 4-1. And as you can see, we get our ELO reveal at 2180. Now, since I hit 2180, I've gained an absolute ton of ELO. We got up to 2440 today, and you're seeing a very, very difficult lead here. Or so you would think. Shadow Ape is kind of stupid at this point. We go straight for the Rage Fist. The opponent goes for the extra ring attack here. We're going to just commit to farm down at this point. We shield up this move. If the opponent lets the next move go, we take swap. And if I wanted to double shield this, I potentially could. As you can see, the opponent's getting into red health before we are. This is kind of insane. I think at this stage, I decided to let it go though, and the opponent froze the move, they're drawing energy. I can get an energy lead with Dugong. If you wanted to, you could force alignment. I decided to take energy instead, thinking that they probably are weak to Gastrodon in the back. In comes Quagsire, pretty happy to see this here. The opponent comes into Quaggy, which of course would be an answer to Electric, so maybe they have another answer to Electric in the back. Could be their own Gastrodon. Maybe this is going to be tricky, but I decided to let this move go off, I'm pretty sure at this point. They go for Stone Edge. I'm going to look to get off an Icy Wind, and we're just going to pray that the Gastro is good in the back. This will get them very, very low. Are we going to take the move here first? I guess I decide to fully sack this, take the move, and then come into the Gastrodon to farm it all the way down. They actually go for Mud Bomb here, and then they come into their own Gastrodon. I'm going to go for Body Slam immediately. In the one-shield matchup versus this Pokemon, you only need to go for one Body Slam basically, and you can farm it all the way down. I'm going to basically call this move, because if they bait me and then land the big move, that could be kind of trouble for me. I'm happy just going straight Body Slams here. And I think actually, I might have misspoke a little bit. I think right at the very end, you can get off a last second Body Slam. But one of the important things about going for that Body Slam immediately was, I was able to deny the opponent a turn. Now, as you seen a second ago, the opponent realised that they lost CMP. I realised that the opponent's not going to want to CMP something that they lose, so I swap, the opponent swaps at the same time. We basically both simul-swap, anticipating each other's play here. I'm able to get the Ice Shard down, and that's good games well played. And ELO versus meowscarada, once again we're going to punch through it. How do I play it this time? Have I ever played this differently? Do I go for it on 6 straight away every time? Oh, I go for 7 this time, which is quite interesting. See, 7 is good timing, but look at that, we take more damage, so you're safer just going for it on 6 in my personal opinion. Anyway, Mandy comes in. We can take these moves pretty comfortably. We just get alignment, we're very, very happy here. We overfarm as much as we pretty much want at this stage. You could throw straight away, but just in case it's more Morpeko in the back, I want to be able to threaten them. I want to force the opponent to stay in this matchup. I want to overfarm, make it awkward for them to swap out. Right here, I make a very bad shielding decision. It's like the opponent's shielding the Mandy, so they're obviously weak to Dugong, right? But still, that does such minimal damage. Like, we can basically look to commit to a farm down at this point, and this is pretty nice, right? These aces would have been adding up eventually. The opponent ends up coming into Whiscash, they're not even super weak to this. We're going to debuff it, go into Gastrodon. And unfortunately, Whiscash is yesterday's news. This is the new Donny out here. This is the new Donny. Whisdaddy Cash is no longer the daddy out here. We've got Gastrodon in the meta. We don't need to go for a big move, because if they let it go, we basically mud slap it all the way down. We can tank another move pretty comfortably. I just even one in Body Slam here. Doesn't matter, I don't have to go for big moves. Sometimes you have to recognize when you need to go for a big move or not. The opponent comes into Mandy, I can Body Slam it here, and I'll still reach a Body Slam against the Whiscash. Good games all played to the opponent there. You see a lot of teams like that where, you know, you can just win lead, and there's a lot of Mandibles with Air Slash in the back. It's a very neutral Pokemon in this meta, of course, unless you're facing a Morpeko. So Mandy is very good, and that's the reason why Dugong is looking very good as well. Toxapex lead, I recommend staying into Force Alignment. What you like to do here, I think, is go for 8 and CMP the move. In this matchup, I don't like throwing on 6 because if the opponent just takes the move and swaps out, you're in a shit position if they've got a spammier Pokemon. So by building up a little bit extra, again, you're sort of forcing them to stay in and play to your game plan at this point. We go for this move on CMP once again. Typically, I like to shield here because if they basically stay in for the full farm, we come out with close to an Ice Punch. Either a Rage Fist or an Ice Punch will be able to get off, and typically Toxapex lead has a Mandy in the back. In comes Sableye. This is going to do heavy damage if they let this through, and that makes it a lot more comfortable for one of my back Pokemon to deal with it. Yep, so in comes Gastrodon. I'm assuming that the opponent's got a Gastrodon answer, so I come into the Gastro here. We can take the move. We actually end up shielding it, which is quite interesting. I guess, like, the thing about Gastrodon in this meta is, even if they're weak to... Oh, the opponent makes a really nice call there, by the way. Even if they're weak to it in the lead, a lot of teams are just ABI weak. It's like Tox lead with Morpeko in the back. So we'll see what the opponent's doing here. We'll get off another Dazzling Gleam. I guess I just try to keep my options open. We come into Dugong. Oh, the opponent comes into Guzzy. This is GG's. Even in the 0-1 shield, we can still win this matchup. So I made a pretty bad shield, I think. I think the Body Slam bait was probably bad as well. But we do get away with it. We get the alignment we want, right? We force alignment. We get to place our Pokemon wherever we want it. We even get off like a high damage move of Ape when we come through. That's the power of Ape in the lead, man. I think you're probably, like, if this team becomes popular enough, you're going to start seeing people countering Ape in the lead. And I think it's bound to happen, because I've seen a few opposing Apes, and like they can run for you, man. Like Annihilate in this meta is really, really strong. I think sooner or later you're going to see Charm-Galade in the lead. I think Charm-Galade is pretty slept on at this current moment in time. I'll show you guys one of the battles from today. This is toxapex lead. The opponent comes into Hakmo-O here. Quite an interesting save swap. We see him pay the Ice Punch here. Very lucky they didn't go for the extra move, but I think we would have been fine if that was the case. They get the move off, we get the move off. We've punched them down a little bit. And it puts Dugong in a very comfortable position to farm it all the way down. Dugong against Toxapex is not exactly a bad matchup either. At this point I'm thinking, is this just Guzzy in the back? Double Dragon, like one Dragon to draw out, like the best Charmer or whatever is on the team. And then of course one to sweep. Toxapex in the lead, which of course is very good into Charm. That would make way too much sense, so I'm expecting it to be probably Guzzlord in the back. Anyway, we get off multiple moves here with Dugong. If it is Double Dragon, the opponent's probably very happy with this, right? They can farm it all the way down. We don't quite make a last second move. We come in with the Gastro. I decided to come in with Gastro, just assuming that it will be Guzzy in the back. The opponent actually makes a swap out into Como-O, so it's double Hakmo-O line, which is pretty funny. It's double Jangmo-O evolutions. You gotta respect it. We come into Ape here. We're pretty much happy to shield this move. I basically want to shield this because Gastrodon's there to answer Toxapex. I don't want them to basically get the Gastrodon low. I know that the opponent will have to throw their move immediately here unless they want to take counter damage, and we're in a very good position. The opponent ends up getting the farm down with Toxapex. That's perfectly fine because Gastrodon will make it to a Body Slam. We easily live a Brine, and we even just farm it all the way down. Good games all played. After that set right here, you're going to see that we just absolutely cooked, man. We get another 5-0 at 2366 ELO. I think I lost 30 ELO for the 2 free, so I think I'm currently sitting at around 2410. So yeah, check out the team. Thank you very much everybody for watching. If you enjoyed it, drop a like, subscribe. Feel free to join our Discord in the description down below. Oftentimes, I share my teams in there before they go into YouTube, and I do stream in there sometimes, as well as other members of the community streaming, so feel free to check it out. Big thank you everybody, and I'll catch you all next time.